The call lasted 17 seconds. Your daughter has 20 days to move out. We're having a real baby now. Click. No hesitation, no stutter, just venom wrapped in that smug suburban tone I always hated. He hung up like I was a telemarketer, not the man whose daughter he just evicted. I sat there for 5 minutes, still processing. Then I picked up the phone again. Paul, I said to my lawyer, remember that clause in the custody agreement? Time to use it. I met Miranda when we were 24. I was stone broke, fresh out of the academy. She came from money, big house, pearl smile, parents who wore judgment like perfume. Somehow she loved me anyway. At least I thought she did. Our daughter Sophie came 2 years later. Light in a collapsing world. She had my eyes, my stubbornness, her mother's smile. I fought for 50-50 custody when Miranda left. I didn't want to fight, but she wanted full control. She took me to court like it was a sport. Spent tens of thousands to bury me. It didn't work. The judge saw through it and gave us equal time. But Sophie always preferred staying at her mom's house. Bigger room, nicer neighborhood. I never blamed her. A child doesn't measure love in square footage, but comfort, that's harder to explain. Then Miranda met Darren, or as Sophie called him, the stiff. He moved in fast, married her faster. Investment banker, tailored suits, expensive teeth. He looked at me like I was a failed draft pick and treated Sophie like a polite inconvenience. The signs came slowly. First, Sophie started packing her own lunches. Said Darren didn't like her snacking. Then her books disappeared. Not lost, taken. Too many fantasy books make girls unrealistic, he'd said. I kept notes quietly. Then came the moment that broke something in me. Sophie cried in my truck one night. Said Darren told her she wasn't his real family, that she should be grateful he even let her stay. I took her for ice cream and told her that monsters only win if we believe their lies. Then I installed cameras outside my house, bought a journal, and labeled every page with dates, incidents, and quotes. Not for court, for me. For clarity. I started reading our custody agreement like scripture. And there it was, a single paragraph buried on page 17. Any unilateral action to remove the minor from a primary residence without proper notice and without offering the father right of first refusal will result in immediate reevaluation of custodial standing in favor of the father. Buried by my lawyer, slipped in by me. Miranda never read anything longer than a headline. She didn't notice it then. She would now. 20 days. That's what he gave my daughter. A number, a deadline, no warning, no conversation. Miranda didn't even call. She let him do it. Her silence spoke louder than his cruelty. I stayed silent too, but mine was lethal. Within 48 hours, Paul had the motion filed. Emergency hearing. Temporary full custody requested. The clause highlighted in red. Darren's email, "We're having a real baby now," printed and stapled to the front. Exhibit A. I picked Sophie up the next Friday. She didn't know yet. I smiled like it was any other weekend. I made her pancakes, let her sleep in, took her to the bookstore, and said yes to 3 books, no matter the price. She smiled again. Not the polite one, the real one. The hearing was set for Tuesday. They had no idea it was coming. Miranda walked in with Darren's arm locked around her like she was carrying a designer bag. She hadn't aged a day, but there was something hollow behind her eyes. Maybe she knew. Maybe she didn't. I let Paul do most of the talking. Clause this, emotional stability that. Then I stood up. I handed over a folder. Inside, timestamps, quotes, photos, messages, Darren's email, Sophie's drawings, one labeled, "Me and Dad's house, safe," and another labeled, "Mom's house, quiet and cold." The judge didn't speak for 20 long seconds. Then he looked at them. I'm granting temporary full custody to the father, effective immediately. The language of the agreement is clear. This court will reconvene in 90 days to review Sophie's well-being. Miranda's mouth dropped. Darren's jaw tightened, but he didn't speak. He didn't need to. His face said everything. Sophie moved in permanently that week. Her room was already ready. It had been for months. I didn't gloat. I didn't post anything online. Revenge isn't about applause. It's about justice moving in silence. But I did do one thing. A few days after the hearing, I mailed Darren a small box. Inside was a baby rattle, still in the packaging, and a note: make sure your real baby doesn't learn how to read. They might grow up to see what kind of man you really are. Miranda tried calling. Once I let it ring. Then I blocked her. She made her choice. And choices have weight. Sophie asked me that night if she could redecorate her room. I said yes. She painted the walls a soft green and put up glow-in-the-dark stars. Her bookshelves are overflowing now. She laughs more, eats more, reads late into the night. She's safe. I don't need forgiveness. I don't need thanks. Just the quiet hum of her breathing down the hall. That's enough. They taught me at the academy, don't strike until the case is airtight. Turns out that's good advice in life too. Because the best revenge isn't loud. It's permanent.